Hey, what's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. This one's interesting. It was kind of slim pickings this weekend in Vegas, at least last night and tonight also. I don't know why, maybe because Coachella is not too far away and nobody wanted to compete with that, but my options were pretty limited last night, so I decided to go see what I thought would be the best bang for the buck. Someone I've never seen before, Brad Paisley. If you're a listener of my reviews, you know that, I'm not a country fan. I've never been a country fan. And since moving here, I've had the ability to see all these amazing country residencies. I've seen Miranda Lambert and Luke Bryan and Carrie Underwood. I saw Garth Brooks, Reba Brooks and Dunn, all those shows that have rolled through here, either residencies over the years. And every time I go, I'm always more and more and more impressed with country. I've been to like 2 or 3 different country music awards that have here in Vegas. So, country. I always said country kind of took the football from the old rock and roll, the late '80s, early '90s rock. I feel like country kind of grabbed that bull by the horns, no pun intended, and just kind of ran with it while those older rock bands kind of died out. Country. But in there, you learn that there's guys like, George Strait and things like that are just, it's not rock and roll, it's old school country, and it's really good too. And I've learned that these are storytellers. That's what I always pick up from country. You don't have to know any songs, but you could sit back and you can listen to the words and you can really appreciate how well written these songs are, how structured they are, how catchy they are, and how relatable they are. That's really the big thing is how, I'm not a country kid. I'm born and raised in L.A. I live in Las Vegas, but this guy's telling a story about falling in love and getting brokenhearted and driving in his car and listening to music. I mean, I can relate to that. Everybody can. So that's where the success of country. So Brad Paisley is a name I know. I can say 100% the only song I knew from Brad Paisley is the Nationwide Nationwide is on your side. That's the only one I knew. I didn't know any songs, but it was a slow night. Tickets were cheap. The show was at my favorite place, the Encore Theater at the Wynn, which I've said in all my reviews, my favorite theater. It's the most intimate theater. It was a special acoustic night, meaning he was only doing acoustic. It was literally him and his guitar. And I said, you know what? How bad could it be? The tickets were $85. We had good seats. We were on the floor. Why not? It's just something. It's an hour and a half show. Those shows start at 8:15, 8:30. They're done by 10. It's better than sitting on the couch. That's what I always say. And I'm always open to hearing something new, and I'm open to it. So with that being said, normally I do these reviews. I'm able to log in the morning, and I see the set list. Nobody posted the set list for last night, which is I'm kind of scared about because I don't know any songs. So what I'm going to do, because I'm looking at a set list that someone posted for this show when it was there in November. And I do recognize a lot of these names. I think the order was very different last night. I think he changed it up. I'm positive he probably mixed a couple new songs in there or took a couple songs out. But for the most part, I'm going to pull some song names from here, but these are not in the right order, but it was pretty much what it was. So here's my take. I was excited because I like that storyteller vibe. I like that, acoustic guitar, telling stories, singing songs. Brad Paisley is a funny guy. They're all funny guys. All these country guys I've seen, the Luke Bryants, they're really charming country boys. They're good-looking guys. They have a really good sense of humor. And I think there was a clash last night in that show because I think everybody walked in thinking you're going to get this really heartfelt, intimate, one-on-one, Brad and his guitar, you guys in your seats. No one's going to stand up the whole show. He's just going to fucking rip your soul apart with these, ballads. But it wasn't like that. It had those moments, and those moments to me were incredible. But he also has, these songs that are like, I'm going to look here, like, You'll Always Be My First Cousin. So that it's a funny song about, it was kind of weird. I mean, he wrote a country song about marrying your first cousin, which is, it was a joke. It's a joke song. You can see it's a joke song. But it kind of offset other songs, like This Is Country Music. I'm just going to read this list because this is basically pretty much what he's saying mixed up. I'm Gonna Miss Her, the Fishing Song, American Saturday Night Woman, Waiting on a Woman, Celebrity, Riverbank, Little Moments, You'll Always Be My First Cousin, The World, Ticks, The Cigar Song, This Is Country Music. I remember that was a good one. I'm Still a Guy, crushing it. Dear is the same thing as Dumbass. So this is another one of those songs I'm talking about. It's a well-written song. But it's like a comedy song. And that one, I think, was the only comedy song to me that worked because it was a really interesting comedy song. Letter to Me, What Happened in Vegas, Whiskey Lullaby, which if I could say I kind of recognized one song, I think that was the one. That's a song where it's, it's, again, here, this is a great example. This is why I do these reviews. So Whiskey Lullaby was a song I think I knew. I didn't really know. But just sitting back, there's lines in that song like he put the bottle against his head and pulled the trigger. Unbelievable line of lyric. Wow, how do you even write that? But I was able to follow the storyline of that song. And the storyline of that song was a guy who was an alcoholic and he drank himself to death. And his wife, or his girlfriend, I think it was his wife, was so ripped apart by that she started drinking and she developed a drinking problem and she ended up dying or killing herself from drinking too much. That's a great song, and I don't need to be a fan of 20 years to understand. I don't need to ever hear that song. I can hear it for the first time and be like, wow, and that's what I was. That was one of those great moments. Last Time for Everything, I remember being good. Mountain Man, Old Alabama, She's Everything, Menstruation, another one of these like funny little songs about men being on their period. Water, then Mud on the Tires. I remember that. He went out, did the encore, and came back and finished with Alcohol, which I think is one of his big hits. So that's the mix of songs. That's not the order he did it in last night, but that's pretty much, I'm sure I'm missing a couple, like I said. I'm sure he added a couple or took some off of here, but that's basically the mix. So it felt like the tale of two shows. There was one thing he kept doing, especially early on in the show for the first 5, maybe 10 songs. He'd be singing a nice ballad, and he's capturing like a moment. Everybody's starting to connect with him, and then he'll slip a little comment in. It was weird. He'd be like having this heartfelt lyric, and then he'll like stop them playing and be like, y'all not going to post this online, right? And like make a joke, and then everybody laughs, and then he goes back to the song. Or he'll be playing a song, he'll have a moment, and some guy will walk down into the crowd and he'll stop playing and make a comment, like a joke comment about the guy sitting in the front row that he's late, and then go back to playing it, which was, I found, really disruptive when, again, it's him, it's his show, it's his personality. He can let it shine. If you're a huge Brad Paisley fan and you've seen him a bunch of times, this show's awesome for you because you really feel like you're in an intimate moment with him and he's stopping songs in the middle and making jokes and picking up again. But for someone like me that's trying to connect with him for the first time, it was a little bit of a distraction. Now, between that, all those little comedy songs, which again, they're his songs. This is his personality. I can't paint a picture of who I want him to be. This is who he is, and he's incredibly successful, so he can tell me to fuck off. But when you go in with this mindset, like I went to Miranda Lambert, and she just knocked my socks off, and Luke Bryan I thought was great. And all these Carry On, they were just great. Now, they had full bands and full stage. This was an acoustic show. So I guess I'm going in circles. But basically, it felt like the tale of two shows. When he was locked in, and I hate to say it like this, but I don't know how else to phrase it, when he just shut up and sang, when he just locked into one of his great, well-written songs. He's got an incredible voice, he's an incredible guitar player, and he writes great, great hits. So when he just locked into it and just sang these 3.5 minute country songs, fantastic. That show was in the 9s. But he didn't do that as much as he did the other stuff, which was a little bit of the comedy and a little bit of the disruption and stuff like that. So I didn't like the other stuff. But for $85 a ticket, plus fees, so $100, I'm in Las Vegas. I'm at the Wynn. I'm gambling. I'm out. I'm drunk. I'm listening to one of the top country stars of all time. You can't beat that. It still was a very good show and a very entertaining show. So for that, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's a solid show. I could see if you're a very big fan of his, you'll love that show. You'll really love it. So if you're not a fan at all, like me, it's still music. It's beautiful, pure music. And he's a very entertaining guy. It's just not what I was expecting from that show. But 7.5, definitely solid show. I would recommend you go seeing it. I've always said it. Country music is usually pretty well priced. And I think that's on purpose. They know their crowd, and you give people good, affordable tickets and tickets that are worth the money, then people will show up, and they keep doing it for country, and I'll keep going to see country. I like these country guys. They're good shows. Anyway, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment, leave some comments if you're there. If you actually knew the set list, you can leave it in the comments or post it somewhere online for other people. Thanks for listening. I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.